Hello, fellow artists of the art world. This is Joe Zavaleta, also known as Triple Jazz. Today we're going to be taking a look at the design of Sonic the Hedgehog, and more specifically, the superior design to Sonic the Hedgehog, the definitive design of Sonic the Hedgehog. First, we're going to talk about the different designs of Sonic, his design iteration throughout all the years. I won't be giving you a whole history lesson on Sonic, as I didn't really do that much research, to be honest, into it. But I will show you pictures of how he's evolved through the years, and then I'll explain why Toei Sonic is the superior Sonic. And then I will teach you how to draw Toei Sonic. So let's get right into it. So starting here, we have Sonic 1. These two are both Sonic 1 designs, I believe. This is just a rendered version, look a little bit nicer, so included it as well. And then we have the Sonic Saturday AM, or Sonic the Hedgehog American television series, with, you know, Sally Acorn, all that fun stuff. Terrible design, I hate it. Then over here we have the Sonic OVA Sonic design, which is, it's pretty good, it's pretty nice. Really, if his feet were just shortened a little bit, I think he would have been a lot cooler, like if his legs were just a little bit shorter. Then here we have the Sonic 3D Blast Sonic. Here he is rendered in a cutscene. This is obviously 90s level 3D animation, so it doesn't look the prettiest, but the design is pretty similar to Sonic 1. This is the Sonic Underground Sonic, which is by far the worst Sonic in my opinion. His nose is like a stub, his ears are tiny, and he still has that garbage mohawk going on. Then we have the Sonic Adventure 2 Sonic, which was obviously a huge jump from the last time we saw Sonic in a video game, which was Sonic 3D Blast, to Sonic Adventure. I guess I didn't even include Sonic Adventure. This is Sonic Adventure 2 here, but pretty similar. Anyways, people love this art style. A lot of people imitated it for a long time and still do. He's got longer spikes, and they're a lot more curvy than they are erect, like they were kind of previously. A little bit more erect. They don't hang as low in the classic design. He's also got longer limbs all around, bigger hands, bigger feet, longer arms, longer legs, a smaller mouth area, smaller head in general. Modern Sonic, as he's called, right? So this is pretty close. Sonic Adventure 2 Sonic is close to being modern, but they made some changes. They kind of went back to the classic design here. They went back to classic shoes. That's pretty much where the similarities end there. This is not classic Sonic at all. Anyways, this is modern Sonic, and then of course we have the travesty that is Sonic Boom. They tried so hard with this design, and ultimately failed. Like, I mean, the scarf, completely unnecessary. He's extremely stretchy, and he looks elastic. So let's compare stuff really quick, okay? So here's where the top of the character is, okay? But notice even the difference here in the size of head. The size of head here is a lot smaller. This is a lot larger. So they even, in Sonic Boom, they went one step farther, and they made him even taller. Yeah, so look how long those legs are. His feet are really large here in the modern Sonic version, but in Sonic Boom, his feet are a little bit smaller, so that allows for longer legs. Sonic does not need longer legs, okay? He doesn't need long, lanky legs. We don't have to translate Usain Bolt into hedgehog form, okay? He doesn't need the scarf. I guess he's become like a Muay Thai boxer or something. It looks terrible. And then they added additional spikes. Idea was bad, and execution was bad. So it was just a bad idea all around. This Sonic doesn't even exist to me. Neither does this piece of crap right here. So here we have Sonic 1. And here is the Sonic CD concept art. So the design for the character during the animation. But I just think it's interesting how different their design on paper was and then the way the animators actually animated him. And I have some frontal shots here. Look how different he is. Even in the classic Sonic 1 design, how his spikes droop. Here they go up and out, and I love that. I love that so much. And you can only accomplish this in hand-drawn animation. So that's the great thing about Toei Sonic, is that frame by frame you can create almost Sonic's own level of expression. Also, something to note is the placement of the head. So here, the two circles are practically touching each other, especially right here, right? The spheres are sitting right on top of each other, versus here, they overlap. In the Sonic 1 design, they overlap. This Sonic CD design right here was what this translated into. So this was on paper what the artist and animator had as a reference, and somehow they got this. It turned out in everyone's favor, let me tell you that. Real briefly, to summarize everything, here, right, we have the pretty ideal design. A lot of people love this classic Sonic design. We got two spheres, some cones, right, pretty close. Limbs are decently large in comparison. to everything else. He's got some short legs and some pointy shoes. Here we have circle, oval, hands are small, limbs are thick. Then we have his mohawk here. Okay, this mohawk is the worst thing probably about this design. Okay, then in the OVA, again, the design up top, pretty solid. I love this. I love what's going on here. The short spikes are nice. I love the size of his hands to his body. But then we have this. We have some really long legs here. Not a fan of these legs. That's what does it for me. I don't even care about the shoes. The shoes are fine. The proportions are fine, as I showed earlier. Okay. Then we have Sonic 3D Blast, which was a terrible translation of classic Sonic into 3D. It just looks terrible. His spikes are too short. They're not even sharp looking. They look blunt. Then we have this. Okay. Sonic doesn't even look like himself here, okay? If you were to just solo out his face from the rest of his body and then change it to yellow, you would think it was Ray the Flying Squirrel. It looks that different. And everything else is actually okay. The length of his legs and the size of his feet are passable. And then, of course, he's got that garbage mohawk. But the spikes here look good. The spikes here, at least in this photo, right, look pretty good. They're sharp. They've got a little bit of weight to them. Then we're on to Sonic Adventure 2, and everything here sags. Everything is sagging. His hands, his limbs are sagging, everything's sagging. His legs are sagging, his feet sag, crying out loud, and as a result, everything is sad. So, moving on. So, modern Sonic was a good step in the opposite direction, except his ears are too conal. They are too much like cones, whereas classic Sonics, as you can see, are like triangles, okay? These things are a little bit too long of triangles. These are isosceles. And then again, look at the size of these. I mean, if you think about where these things connect, they're like giant tubes on the back of his head. They're just like these massive conal tubes on the back of his head. And then, of course, we're going to forget about that. Okay. But here we have the perfect ratio of Sonic here. Okay. It's just two little, boom. Just love it. Okay. And then he's got spikes that are just boom, boom, popping out everywhere. He looks like Super Sonic, but he's not. It's amazing. So summary, okay? Summary. In summation. Now, back to my summary. We basically can just follow these short... Actually, hold on. Whoa, I forgot to cover something entirely. Roll the clip, go back, here we go. His eyes here are so good. They're so expressive, especially right here, right? We have this like kind of elongated, one side's higher than the other, like he's always got this sassy look. There is a very liberal use of his mouth here. Look how large his mouth is. His mouth size here is almost the entire circle. And this is actually a huge key. The way his eyes and his mouth are the biggest keys. It's time to practice, boys, okay? We're going to follow these 3 simple steps. Okay, I'll just make them a little bit shorter. We're going to follow these 3 simple steps and now draw Sonic, okay? Toei Sonic. Here we go. Number 1, 2 circles on top of each other. If I can do this. Trying to get something I'm happy with. Okay, 2. Right on top of each other, right at the neckline. This is important. But as you can see, his limbs are very short. Don't need to go overboard. So then, and then circles on the end that are almost the same size as his body. Then we have his feet, and his feet you can draw as just 2 cylinders. Then you just attach at about halfway, correct? Because we need to make room for a sock. Okay, so halfway point, then just attach a smoothed out pyramid shape. We're gonna add some more cylinders right here, right? Because these are kind of cylinder-esque. Then we can do the classic portion lines that a lot of How2Draw Sonic books cover, and any How2Draw book covers. The middle of his brow right here at the point, and we're just kind of gonna do his little classic elongated look. Also to note, and this is important, his ears go on the top, on the corners of the sphere, always. His ears go right on, oops. his ears go along the corners of the sphere. They never go inside, they never go outside, they are always on the sphere. And remember, his eyes take up the majority of his face, so we're going to do that. We're going to take up the majority of his face, and then of course his nose, it doesn't go straight out, it actually goes up into the corner in Toei Sonic. And we can make his mouth pretty big here. Actually, I'm not even pleased with that. So we're going to erase this real quick, and we're going to give him more face. I'm sorry guys, I'm kind of doing this all on the fly, so bear with me here. It is hard to get the first time around. It's just kind of hard to eyeball here in Photoshop. We'll zoom in here so you can see how we do the eyes. The eyes are a kind of a curved like classic cartoon looking stuff, right? Where they kind of had this look, right? It's kind of a curved eyeball. So we're just going to give Sonic 2 of those on either side. We're going to curve them around his face. Okay, so we're going to add another circle inside the circle of the body to circle and circle and circle. We're going to add limbs here, just give them a little bit of thickness. They kind of go off here and here. And his arms connect here at the side. We all know this, should know this. Okay, so now we've got the basis of his body, right? We've got this all kind of rendered out. We got his head on straight, thank goodness. And now the important part. Where do you place spikes? This is a lot of eyeballing and guesswork, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to eyeball and guess it until it looks right. The back spikes always come off to the side. They are never straight back, right? So you would never see them like this. They are always large out to the side, like they're almost wings, okay? Just gonna quickly change his mouth a little bit. Flip it around, see what we got going on here. Right, so it's kind of a process. This is a lot easier to do on paper for some reason, just because I can kind of have a little bit more control. We're just gonna fill these shapes in right here. We can add the lines, right, and then kind of just sit his large socks on top of it. It's just more cylinders, right? All cylinders. Give him, the buckles are always on the outside of his feet, so you don't have to worry about that. And actually his feet are too long. His feet are too big, so we're going to shorten them. His spikes, always out to the side. His tail you can either put between his legs or kind of out to the side right here. Again, everything's off to the side. It's usually not straight down the middle. There's not a lot of symmetry here when it comes to like these hand-drawn frames. Everything is kind of always shifting one way or another. Like Sonic spikes are never directly right above his head. They're always off to the side. So let's use that method, okay? So we're gonna just do a quick spike here. So the second spike is always overlapping this first one. Okay. Then it comes down, and then we have the smaller spike here on the side. Right? And then you're like, oh, I mean that looks okay. It looks kind of weird. It's like, oh yeah, that's because you're missing this guy right here. Let's do Toei Sonic sprinting. Okay, so we're gonna do a bit of an action pose. Toei Sonic sphere. Okay, always sphere. Most Sonic is, right? We're gonna do another sphere here, where it connects right at the body. Okay. Then we're gonna set up how we want the picture to actually be perceived. That's the importance of these perspective lines or these face lines, because we can kind of see. Oops. Okay, so where I'm going with this, the sphere would actually be a little bit more back here. Okay, and Toei Sonic always throws his fist in front of his face. In the Toei version of Sonic, limbs are never right angles, okay? They're usually noodles. They turn into noodles when they start curving. So we're just going to make this back leg a noodle and just quickly add, cylinder here. Just a cylinder here, and we'll just kind of break it up. And then we're going to add his shoe shape. Start wherever you'd like. I always start on the face. If I can see Sonic's face, I just like it a lot more, and I can solve the problems a lot better. So again, since we're kind of looking up, his mouth is going to be pretty generous with how much room we're going to give it. Basically an S into an S. Okay, so we're just going to do S, S. That's pretty much all of Sonic's face. And this is the point where his nose connects right here, and the point where it ends. His mouth is always close to the top of it. Or like his smile, his smirk is always close to the top of his mouth. It's never near the bottom. It's never down here. It's never right here. It's never over here. It's always where you can see it. And like even right here, you always pick a side, okay? So if you're gonna lean everything on that side, everything's leaning this way. His hair, his mouth, his eyes, right? Everything is kind of leaning this way. So that means the mouth would go on that side. Okay, and then here we want a pretty plump nose. It's kind of a nice thick cylinder that just kind of sits on his face like that. Okay, so we've got I actually want his fist to kind of come out more in front of his face. So we're going to move that fist just a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to add the back of his glove here. Again, noodle arms, right? Never straight right angles. It's always noodles. It's a pretty safe bet to just kind of draw his mask straight up and then kind of come careening down the side of his face like this. And you don't want to exaggerate. You don't want to exaggerate it too much like this, or like that, or like this, right? It should all just kind of look like it's flowing from one shape into the other. And again, his eyes are very much close together. Instead of drawing his eyes like this, now that his face is curved this way, that's the way we curve it. So you always curve it around his face. You always curve his eyes around the side of his face. And again, ears go on the sphere. Spike placement is it's a lot of eyeballing, it's a lot of trial and error. I don't have a method for this, unfortunately. Size is what matters here, so just be sure they're nice and they're big, but they're pretty spiky. They don't slouch. Tyson Hesse, the artist behind the new Mega Drive comics, does them more like this. He kind of does them like that. So if you want to do that, you can. I prefer just sticking straight to Toei. So we're going to do 1 straight line, 2, and 3. Back here. We'll just get rid of those. Which is actually the way that I animate Sonic now. And then if you really, if you always want to cheese the Toei look, a safe bet is to add a fourth spike somewhere in view. Okay, the front buckle, it's pretty simple, okay? It's just a square, and it's got a circular thing at the end here. I mean, you guys have seen a buckle, right? Come on. And then what I do is I just usually put it at the bottom of the shoe. So his gloves, in Toei, they don't include these things right here. So instead what they do, they just do one line like that. It's just like that. So for right here, I'm just gonna kind of curve it into it and then finish it right here. But actually, because of perspective, I can kind of get away with it. Do like that. And just kind of... So his hands are usually balls when they're running because they're fisted up, right? And it probably saves a lot of time. So if you think about it, his fist is going to probably come down like he's running and just come down just a little bit. Hopefully you got similar results to what I did. Remember to keep these in mind. It's basically circles on top of circles with, you know, cones in the back, right? But they're not flaccid cones. They're erect cones. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned, subscribe, like, whatever you want to do for the next video. I'm going to be doing a couple more of these. We're going to be doing Knuckles and Tails and probably Metal Sonic. So stick around. Oh, and probably Super Sonic. So stick around, guys. I'm going to show you guys how to draw all these characters correctly, the right way. And thanks for watching.